Mr. Webb, you and your girlfriend say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with for the past 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Webb, how can you be so certain you are not this child's biological father?
I never had sex with her, Your Honor.
Well, that would rule you out. You've never had sex with her?
No.
Yeah, he did.
She's a liar. She's crazy.
Ms. Cole, we've heard a lot of defenses in this courtroom. Rarely have we ever heard that you've never had sex with her.
She's absolutely crazy.
So you think she's just making this up?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
If you've never had sex, why are you here?
I know for a fact the dates line up, and I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for 1 night, and we had sex. April 11th.
That's when you believe you conceived your daughter?
Yeah.
Mr. Webb, this is strange. What was the nature of your relationship?
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it.
You were never intimate with her in any way?
I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a week and a half.
That's not true.
That's a lie.
So you're over there hanging out, partying, because you're friends with Miss Cole.
He had multiple friends there when they had the party.
And what you're saying is you never ended up being intimate with her, like
No.
she's saying.
All right,
No.
where did you sleep?
On the couch, in the living room. Is there something wrong here?
Mr. Webb, how did you find out she was pregnant?
Can I show you?
Do you have a diagram?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Please step forward.
This is how this went, the first message. She messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I had said, okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life and move on. And this is not doing either of us any good, so just do me a favor and stay out of my life in the inbox. At this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but just hinting, not actually saying it.
All right.
Okay, so here's the second one. This is what came next. I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be mean, I just want this to end. Because I'm not a mean person, I'm not a hateful person. But when it comes to her and what she's put me through with the lies the last year, I can't take it no more. She had sent me a message back saying, by what the doctor is saying, the due date matched to when we blanked, that's all I'm going by. After this is where I'm like, she's literally crazy. Because now I understand what she's saying. At the first text, I'm thinking, okay, she's hinting towards it. Now she's full blown out, trying to say that we did stuff. So that's when I'm like, there's something wrong with her. Okay, this is the last one. This is how this ended. She had sent me an ultrasound saying, that's a 3D photo. Tell me she don't look like you. Are you that crazy? How crazy are you that do I look like an ultrasound? I got on Google because I don't know much about baby stuff, so I'm thinking, is that a thing now? So I said, Tasha, you're crazy. We didn't blank. I'm not the father to your baby. Please leave me alone. And that was that. I just didn't want to deal with her anymore. I still don't.
What do you think, Mr. Webb, is Miss Cole's motive if you say you've never slept with her? Why manufacture all of this?
I think she's obsessed with me. She's obsessed with me or something.
No.
I don't know what it is. I've been trying to figure out the last year.
There's one reason why I'm here. To know for sure he's the dad. Because I did have another partner. It was a month. A month prior.
How we find out?
No, I told you there was another possibility, and I told the other possibility there was another.
But you also told them that you were 100% sure that I was the father. You and your mom said that.
Wait a minute, Miss Cole?
Look, she looks just like him.
That baby's white. He is dark.
I'm sorry, but I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say.
Miss Cole.
What?
You're saying that you were honest, and don't say what.
I'm sorry. Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, let me take a breath. Miss Cole, so you admitted there's another possibility, and you say you've been upfront since the beginning. It's either Mr. Webb or this other gentleman.
Yeah, as soon as I took the pregnancy test, I immediately texted him and called the other guy, and I told both of them.
That's a lie.
I was for certain that the other guy was the dad until my due date got changed a month ahead, which would make him the dad. It went from February 22nd to January 28th.
The night that she said that we had sex or whatever, 2 of our friends were there. One of them were her family members, and even he said that we didn't do nothing. They were partying with us the whole night. And I wasn't even
but if you're sleeping at the house and you all are partying, I won't ask what that means, but if it goes on for a week and a half, I really don't think it's anything positive. So if it goes on that long, are you sure that one night of partying didn't lead you to sleep with her and you may not even recall?
You know, I've actually...
Or want to admit in front of your girlfriend?
Yeah.
No, I've thought of the possibility. Yep. Me and her have had this conversation over and over. She knew I was over there partying. I didn't hide nothing from her. We talked that night on the phone over 4 or 5 times.
Well, you could talk on the phone with her 4 or 5 times a day and still end up in the bed with Miss Cole. I mean, that's doable.
Every time I party, I've never been the type to wake up and not remember what I've done the night before. I know myself. That's just how it is.
Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
Miss Webb.
There, get her there, get her there.
Mr. Webb, Miss Reams. Stop.
But I want a lie detector.
Listen, we don't clown in this courtroom. I know you probably feel relieved, vindicated, but at the same time, there's a beautiful young baby whose life and paternity is still at issue. Ms. Cole, you stood firm in your testimony that you were intimate with Mr. Webb.
Yes.
And this other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you mentioned this pregnancy to the other guys?
I told both of them after the same day I took the pregnancy test.
And have you spoken to the other guy since?
No. And I'm going to be writing him a letter now.
The other guy?
Yeah. But he's a lot better. He's a lot better.
He's not better.
From the moment you saw Quenisha Mayberry, you believe that she is your biological daughter, even though the defendant claimed you are not. You hope today's results prove what you have known for 35 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Wynn, you claim that you have never given the plaintiff a reason to believe he is your daughter Quenisha's father. In fact, you say you have always known who her dad is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Williams, I'll start with you. Tell me about the moment you realized Quenisha was your daughter.
Well, it was the first time I saw her. You know, she looked like me, fair skin, and I just knew she was my daughter.
And when was this, sir?
When she, about a week after she was born.
Oh, right after she was born?
Yes.
You looked at her and you said, this is my daughter?
Yep.
Because you felt like she looked like you?
Well, she's fair skinned, I was fair skinned, her mom is dark, and the other guy, he's darker.
That's not a lot of criteria.
No, but I just felt, I felt it in my heart.
And most babies are very pale when they're born.
Well, I just felt it in my heart that she was mine.
So you really did? You had that feeling like, this is my daughter?
Yes.
And you've held on to that feeling?
Yes.
And so for 35 years, you've been saying, this is my daughter?
Yes.
But Ms. Wynn, you say he's not her biological father.
He's not her father, Your Honor. Color don't mean nothing. You know, because he light-skinned and she light-skinned, the other guy is dark-skinned, I'm dark-skinned. That don't prove that he's her father.
It sure doesn't.
I know who's her father.
Well, it's different
when
you got...
It's not Stanley.
Ms. Wynn, how do you remember your relationship with Mr. Williams? Can you take me back?
I don't remember.
Wait, what?
I don't remember. I don't remember at all. If he said it happened, it must have happened. I don't remember.
So it is your testimony you do not remember having sexual relations with Mr. Williams?
No, Your Honor. I do not remember.
Do you remember walking past the store and trying to get his attention?
Yes.
So you remember both of you all were young and he was working in the store and you remember walking past trying to get his attention?
Yes, I walk past that shoe shine probably about 10 times a day.
That's what he said.
50 times a day.
Maybe more.
And so
That still don't prove he's the father.
No, it doesn't. Look, she about to take my job, Jerome.
Sorry.
He said that don't prove nothing. No, walking past the store doesn't prove he's the father. You're correct. I'm trying to get to, do you remember him asking you on a date or meeting up with him later?
Your Honor, I don't remember none of it. And if Stanley knew he was to feel that he was a father, he could have been did this test. He used to come get her, take her over to his house. He could have did it then.
Well, if you
You
didn't
want to
think
wait 35 years to do this now?
If you didn't think I was, why would you let me take your baby?
I didn't have a problem.
You've been a mom and probably a really great mom, but she wouldn't be standing here if you were the dad and could really fill those shoes. You aren't, and that's why she wants to know who her father is. And that's no slight to you. I mean, you may have been an incredible mother, but she still has that desire to know who her father is. That's why we're here to support her and Mr. Williams and you to try to figure out what in the world is going on. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a mom say, I don't even remember this person, sleeping with the person. Wow. And the dad be so sure that he's the biological father. This is a first.
Memorable.
So, Mr. Williams, can you tell the court, describe for the court the experience reconnecting with Quenisha after 20 years? What happened?
Now, the only thing we talked about is just getting a DNA test and, you know, just to make it official. Even me and her mom, we even talking about going to have one. That's why I don't know why this sounds foreign to her right now, because we've had this conversation before.
But nothing never, ever happened.
But why are we getting a DNA test if nothing happened, though, man? Come on now, man.
Like I said, he's not her father. I know he's not her father.
Well, who is my daddy then?
What? I don't know. I don't know. It ain't Stanley.
But how do you know, though? How do you know? What?
She don't look nothing like him.
Okay.
Where do you see the resemblance at? Because she light-skinned, he lighter than her. She look more like me. She's just a lighter version. You know, we here today just to find out if Stanley is her father, so we can put this all behind it. If this is your daughter, I can't give you the 35 years back. We just could go from here.
That's right.
And I see you now, Mom. I see the emotion in your eyes. What are you feeling now in this moment? What are you feeling?
I'm just upset. I'm hurt that it's taking so long, you know. It's my fault that I did this to my daughter, not knowing who's her father.
It's not that hard to just be honest. You can spend all day condemning Mr. Williams and everything he did and he didn't do when, you know, I knew this, and that's why I asked you, what was it? What were you really feeling?
I'm not mad at Mr. Williams because he did this. It's just like, you know, he just took so long to do it. We took so long to do it. We should have been did this.
Right.
We owe this to our daughter, if this is his daughter.
When it comes to Quenisha Mayberry, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Williams, you are not the father. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry I could not give you the closure you needed. Ms. Wynn, can you remember, identify, think about any other person you may have been dating at that time?
It's the man that signed her birth certificate.
And so, Quenisha, well, I guess, you know, sometimes we just have to find, like I always say, the magic in the mess. Like we hear the magic and the miracle of it is that his name's on your birth certificate and you know where he is.
No, I don't know where he is. And I prefer to keep it that way.